Aside from that shit, the game is pretty damn buggy. It's not quite Battlefield 4 or MCC, but it's still terrible.
Many of the 9 basic multiplayer maps feel too similar in design, however. They're small, long, mostly feature 3 lanes.
Watch someone open up a loot box and you get rewarded for it.
Which makes the limited selection of 3 maps the one drawback of this otherwise stellar mode.
Honestly, I got bored with the multiplayer relatively quickly.
Maps are pure garbage.
Unfortunately though, I really wasn't able to experience much of this because the multiplayer has been giving me some issues on Xbox One. When I spawn into headquarters, there's no one there spawning with me, so I'm all by myself.
And it is an abysmal, repugnant, putrid-ass stain of a storyline.
The mid-2010s was a weird time for Call of Duty. After the incredible 6-game streak of the Modern Warfare series, World of War, and the Black Ops series, where could you really go? Activision and primarily Infinity Wars decided to make Call of Duty Ghosts, which is where Call of Duty began its strange turn, because they didn't really have anything to sell with COD Ghosts. The yearly release of Call of Duty was already starting to feel really old, but Ghosts brought absolutely nothing to the table. The Modern Warfare story was over, so Infinity Ward tried to reset and start again, but they just didn't change anything with Ghosts at all, except adding an alien survival mode instead of a zombie survival mode. In the multiplayer and campaign, the only things they could even advertise were the advanced fish AI and dog.
And also added an AI system to it, so we have fish move out of the way when you get close to them.
This gave Ghosts quite a bad reception and forced them to do something severely new for the next Call of Duty, which was headed up by a developer who had never worked on Call of Duty before. Sledgehammer Games were brought in to shake up the franchise and bring something new, which is exactly what they did with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Before all the raving about all the Omni movement stuff, the first innovation in COD's movement was EXO everything. Advanced Warfare jumps to something like the 2050s to bring all new futuristic technology. With laser guns, threat detection grenades, AI drones, a gun that 3D prints bullets, and most importantly, the exosuits. This brings Exo Jumps, Exo Boost, Exo Punch, Exo Stomp, Exo Cloak, Exo Overclock, Exo Survival, Exo Zombies, Exo to pay respects. So this really brought some innovation to the COD series and properly changed the game. And the futuristic setting was carried forward to the next game, Black Ops 3. It had a different style of advanced movement system with jetpack wall running. And I don't think I've got the unpopular opinion when I say that I really liked it and thought the zombies and multiplayer was really good. But halfway through the life cycle of Black Ops 3, there was a yearning for the old style of Call of Duty, classic boots on the ground gameplay. Which is why when Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was announced and Call of Duty finally went to space, fanbase wasn't too happy. It kept the movement style of Black Ops 3 and carried a lot of mechanics from Black Ops 3, like its loot box system. It apparently had quite a decent campaign and a good zombies mode, but nobody really cared about the game because of how little people wanted to do COD in space. So this obviously provoked a reaction from Call of Duty's developers, and with Sledgehammer Games being the next developer in COD's new 3-year cycle, they had a lot to prove. It was time to make their first boots on the ground Call of Duty, and after how controversial Advanced Warfare was and the reaction to Infinite Warfare, this game needed to be a banger. Call of Duty needed a win to get the series back on track for the future of Call of Duty, for the future of all of gaming. They released Call of Duty World War II and it was fairly average, and the series returned to its roots in World War II. First time for 9 years since Cold War, and one of the most popular games in the series, they released near the peak of the franchise. World War II looked to recapture that magic, as it came with the usual 3 game modes, campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. Like every COD game in this era. And looks like we're going to need to talk about all of them. First, of course, we have to talk about the most important part of COD, the campaign. The whole thing revolves around Operation Overlord, with the Allies' operations to take back Europe, which started with D-Day, meaning we get the classic World War II game D-Day mission coming right at the start. And it really starts off well. The initial cutscene introduced us to the basic cast of characters, Smart Spies, Angry Spies in 4012, and the main character, who is basically just does nothing. Then all of a sudden, you land on the beach and shit gets serious. You can really tell that this mission was the one they were showing off at all the E3 displays that year. You rock up on your landing boat and see half of the thing get wiped out, torn to shreds by a hail of machine gun fire. You're thrown off the side, forced to wade through the blood-stained water, scurrying between sea mines and anything else that could serve as the tiniest bit of cover. After charging up the beach and blowing up some defences, you eventually get to storm the machine gun nest, and it's the only time you can feel remotely safe because you're finally out of their line of sight. At last, you feel like you've taken advantage and start to feel some power and control, that you've turned the tables on the Nazis. But really from here, it just turns into a basic, normal COD campaign mission as you just go up and shoot the guys, with a few set pieces set up along the way, like these dumb quick time events. The more I played of the campaign, the more I started to lose interest in it. Unsurprisingly, it just evolves into a very standard Call of Duty campaign. It's not like World at War where you're just jumping between different fronts of the war and you can see all different points of view. It's just this group of insufferably patriotic American soldiers killing Krauts the whole time. The gameplay doesn't get any more interesting than normal COD. They removed health regeneration from the campaign, meaning you need to scrounge around for health packs to heal, and then it still takes ages to use the health pack even then. So anytime you take any damage, the game's paced slow to cruel as you look for a health pack, and then hide behind a wall just to use it. Because of the time period, most of the weapons you're going to use are single shot rifle, Kar98K or M1 carbine, which stops a normal COD run and gun style. But at least on your carbine you can sometimes get a bayonet, which allows you to do this.
Move! We have to protect our servants! That's black fire!
The sprinting bayonet charge lets you charge headlong into the enemy and slam a knife into one of them, and your guy makes a very funny noise every time, even though most of the time it just results in you getting shot from all angles. But the best change made to this Call of Duty's campaign was the squad abilities. Every main character in your squad has a team ability which you can have them do on your command, with every kill you get charging these up, and these are all really important to your survival. These range from mortar strikes to enemy spotting to ammo resupplies and health packs. And it makes you keenly aware of your allies and who you're fighting with, and really helps you buy into the whole brothers in arms concept and the desperate to put it across to you, because you actually feel the presence of the team. Onto the actual most important part of Call of Duty, and the point that every Call of Duty lives and dies on. It's multiplayer, which I obviously couldn't find a game in 7 years later on Xbox. It's also the only COD game with a multiplayer hub world at Normandy Beach. There's nobody there anymore, so it's quite lonely. Nobody there to watch me open loot boxes on the beaches of D-Day. The other big changes to multiplayer were through the division system and the addition of the war game mode. Divisions really changed the class system, basically making each class of weapon specified to a certain character class. It's completely upheaved COD's traditional perk system. So the perk 1, 2 and 3 and occasionally a wild card, you have your division and basic. Divisions can level up to get more perks and benefit certain guns, whereas basic training can be pretty much anything, ranging from carrying an extra grenade to the one that gives you a random weapon anytime you press Y, basically turning the game into Halo Fiesta. War is a fully new 6v6 objective based game mode. where one team has to complete a variety of different objectives while the other team tries to stop them. It's supposed to feel like a much larger scale battle with massive objectives, completing the most important battles in World War II. The whole live scale gets completely lost though, because it's still just 6v6, despite being on much bigger maps. Certain areas are cut off from players during the match. Defenders can't push the attackers back too much, and the attackers can't flank the defenders too widely. This was all pretty much done better in Ground War later on. The new big game mode of World War II ended up being a flop, and the new perk system was more constricting than innovative. This, combined with its lackluster events, eventually led to multiplayer being an overall disappointment. But of course, there is one game mode left: Nazi Zombies. After the batshit craziness of Black Ops 3 Zombies and sheer goofiness of Infinite Warfare Zombies, it was a weird choice for them to go back to Zombies played fairly seriously, with an added attempt to be scary and tie it back to the whole World War II story. There's really not too much to say about it, except it's like Treyarch Zombies again, but without all of the character. Like, even at the start in World at War, COD Zombies still had a bit more character and life. The only thing that this game's got going for it is David Tennant's character being funny every now and then. So this mode's just less interesting than the one it's based on. But at least it doesn't do anything wrong. In the end, it is just more zombies. So the game, specifically designed to save the entire Call of Duty series, ended up being a massive letdown. More than anything, it just managed to be really forgettable. With the amount of World War II games in the series, it just ended up becoming another one. Definitely not the worst, because Vanguard came out after, and it's never going to be the best when Modern War exists. Which is really the issue. How was Sledgehammer ever expected to top Treyarch on the second attempt at making COD? But still, the game's worth having a go if you like a bit of zombies. It's still got something to offer you, if you ignore the pay-to-win consumables. COD eventually only made its way back to the top by exploiting nostalgia in a different way, with the reboot of the Modern Warfare series.